welcome to the first ever video on this YouTube channel. My name is Rotary Jake, and I'm going to be walking you through the 10 best cars to get you started in tuning car culture. Again, this is all my personal opinion, but let's just hop right into this. Alright, and coming in at number 10 is going to be the 04 to 06 Mini Cooper S R53. This 3-door hatch has a 4-cylinder dual overhead cam supercharged engine, pushing around 168 wheel horsepower and 162 foot-pounds of torque. This car is also a front-wheel drive with an available 6-speed manual transmission, and these cars can usually sell for around 8 to 10 grand depending on who you're getting it from and the condition and whatnot. I've never owned one of these, but I know people who own these and they say they are great cars for tuning. So if you're looking for a small compact car that you can daily but also put on some nice exhaust, make it sound really good, make it look really good, look no further than the Mini Cooper. Alright, and for number 9, we're going to have an 05 to 06 Acura RSX Type R. You could really have any year RSX. I just chose these 2 years because they were my particular favorites out of all of them. This front-wheel drive 4-cylinder coupe has a dual overhead cam 16-valve engine that pushes around 200 to 210 wheel horsepower and 143 foot-pounds of torque. This car is available in a 6-speed transmission and goes 0 to 60 in about 6.2 seconds. These cars will usually run you around 8 to 10 grand also. I put the RSX on here because I love the way it looks, even though it is kind of just an upgraded Honda Civic, which that's going to make some people angry at me, but I mean, it basically is. And it is a good car to get you started into tuning, so if you want just a coupe with more racy looks than a Mini Cooper, I would definitely check out the Acura RSX Type R. Alright, and for number 8, we're going to have an 02 Audi TT. These inline 4-cylinder 1.8 liter coupes can come in both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. These cars can push anywhere from 180 to 225 wheel horsepower and 173 to 207 foot-pounds of torque, depending on the trim and model you get. These cars can come in a 6-speed manual transmission and can sell anywhere from 6K to 9K, depending on who you're getting it from and the condition. I'm not the biggest fan of the look of these cars, but I know people who love them, and I do know that they have a lot of potential if you want to put the time and energy into them. I just don't really like the way they look because they kind of look like sad dogs to me, so I don't know. Alright, at number 7, I'm going to have to put the Chrysler 300C. This 5.7 liter V8 Hemi sedan makes around 340 wheel horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. This car can come in either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. The only downside for it, for me, is that it can only come in a 5-speed automatic. These cars usually go for 8 or 9K. I know that this isn't a car that most people put in the realm of tuning and like car culture and all that, but I myself see a lot of potential in it. It looks like a great daily driver. I love the way it looks, and I see that this thing has a lot of power underneath its hood. Alright, and number 6 is going to have to go to the late 90s, early 2000s Ford Mustang GT. This all-American V8 muscle car can have anywhere from a 4.6 liter V8 single overhead cam 2-valve, producing around 210 wheel horsepower and 285 foot-pounds of torque, to a similar engine producing 260 horsepower and 302 foot-pounds of torque. This car comes in a rear-wheel drive drivetrain with a 6-speed manual transmission, and these cars can go anywhere from 5K to 8K. The Ford Mustang is really just the all-around tuner car for cheap here in America. You can build them for drag racing or drifting or anything, and as long as you want to put the time and effort into it, it will do the job and do it really, really well. Alright, and at number 5 is going to be the beloved Nissan 300ZX. This hatchback can come in either a 3.0 liter V6 making around 222 wheel horsepower and 198 foot-pounds of torque in the GS trim, and a 3.0 liter V6 making 300 wheel horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque in the twin turbo trim. This car can come in a rear-wheel drivetrain and a 5-speed manual transmission, and these cars can go for around 7 to 9K. I personally love the way the 300ZX looks. I haven't met one person who hasn't, and these cars are just all-around great cars. They're classics in kind of the JDM scene, and I would love to get one day. Alright, and number 4 is gonna have to go to the Subaru Impreza WRX Blob Eye Edition. This all-wheel drive sedan comes with the iconic Subaru Boxer engine with a flat 4-cylinder 2.0 liter dual overhead cam layout, pushing around 227 horsepower and 217 foot-pounds of torque. This car comes with a 5-speed manual transmission and can usually be bought for around 7 to 9K. I love the Blob Eye. I know Subarus are kind of a touchy one for people. Either you love them or you hate them. I love Subarus. I'm not too keen on the Hawkeye variant of this, but I will forever and always love the Blob Eye variant of this. Alright, and number 3 is going to have to go to my personal favorite on this entire list, which is the Mazda RX-8. This 1.3 liter 6-valve rotary engine pushes 232 wheel horsepower and 159 foot-pounds of torque. This 4-door coupe comes in rear-wheel drive with a 6-speed manual transmission, and these beauties can usually go for around 5 to 7K. I love RX-8s, I love all rotary engines in cars, and the RX-8 just happens to be one, if not my favorite, just rotary engine in general, and I just love this car with all my heart. Alright, and number 2 is going to be the Mazda Miata. This one was kind of a controversial one. It was really a toss-up between this one and number 1. This rear-wheel drive coupe comes in an inline 4-cylinder dual overhead cam 1.6 liter engine pushing around 116 wheel horsepower and 100 foot-pounds of torque, coming with a 5-speed manual transmission and going for about 3 to 6K. The Miata is just kind of a classic drift car. It's super cheap, it's super fun, great handling, it's endless tuning possibilities, so if you really are looking into getting into drifting, definitely get a Miata or at least check them out. Alright, and finally we get to our number 1 spot on this list, and I feel like a lot of you knew that this one was coming. The number 1 spot is going to have to go to the iconic Nissan 240SX. This legendary wheel-wheel drive coupe comes in an inline 4 2.4 liter dual overhead cam engine pushing 155 horsepower and 160 foot-pounds of torque, available in a 5-speed transmission, and this is easily just one of the most iconic cars for drifting, tuning, just car culture in general. If you didn't see this was coming at number 1, you really do need to look into this car. It's just phenomenal. This car has so many upsides to it that it's just crazy. And again, these cars can usually come in around 7K. Alright, and thank you guys for watching my very first video on this channel. I'm very pumped to be getting back into this and just going back at car culture and stuff like that. If you'd like, you can go ahead and subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment on any cars you think I missed out on this, or just your personal favorite cars that got you into tuning and just car culture in general. If you'd leave a like, it'd be greatly appreciated. And yeah, see you guys.